Alright, this is the video for the grammar of chapter 6 section 1. This time the video is going to be about Welch or welcher. This is a pretty similar concept to dies, the words that we had before meaning this. Basically it's just the question form. So when we ask a which question, we get a this or these response. So if you remember how to use these, this should be relatively easy because it works pretty much the same way. Now we are going to be writing questions with Welch, whereas most of the time we were giving answers or writing statements with dies. So here's an example. Welches Brot isst du? Ich esse dieses Brot. So which bread are you eating, or which sandwich are you eating? I am eating this bread or this sandwich. So if you remember dies or diese, you should remember that all we had to do was apply der word endings to the end of dies, and that's how we got the correct form. It was based on the gender in the case, obviously, but we're going to be doing the same exact thing for welch. So you should be using the chart that I provided below. If you don't already know it, make sure that you write it down in your notes. So if we were asking a question where the answer would be in the accusative case or in the nominative case or in the dative case, etc., we need to form our which form based on that. So let's take a look now at some examples. So our number one says welch blank Hund ist braun. And what we need to do is figure out, okay, where's our verb? And right here's our verb, ist. And what is using the verb, or what is completing the action to be? And that would be the dog, so Hund, which makes this the subject. And when that's the subject, we know that this has to match that case. And now we need to also match the gender. So if we're using the subject case or the nominative case, and this gender is masculine, we should know that the ending that goes on there is an ER ending. Welcher Hund ist braun? Okay. Try the next four on your own. I'll give about 10 seconds before I change the slide. So if you want to try these, make sure that you pause the video now. Okay, so like we said, number one should be welcher Hund ist braun. We've already done that. So looking at number two, we have welches Mädchen ist deine Freundin? Again, look at the verb. We have ist. What or who is? The girl. Or your girlfriend / female friend. Now, because it's to be, we don't really have an object of to be ever. So they're both technically subjects, but that makes this a subject either way, and it is the neuter gender, so we have nominative neuter ending as es. Welches Mädchen ist deine Freundin? Number three, find our verb. We have trägst. What or who is wearing? You are wearing. Okay, so you is the subject. What are you wearing? So what's receiving the action? What's being worn? That would be the skirt. So the skirt is now the direct object or the accusative case, and we should know that the skirt is masculine. So we are adding an en ending this time. Welchen Rock trägst du heute Abend? Number four, gibst is our verb. Who is giving? You are giving. What are you giving? The hat. That makes this the direct object. To whom are you giving the hat? The man. So this is the indirect object now. Now, because we're using geben uses the dative case, and it is an indirect object, so that makes sense. So we are going to be using the dative case ending on here. It is a masculine noun, so dative case and masculine, we end up with em as our ending. And number five, starting off with the verb gibt. Now this one is a little strange because the verb phrase gibt es or es gibt doesn't mean it gives. It literally does, but not for what we're using it. So in this case it means there is or there are. So what are there is essentially what I need to ask to figure out my direct object, and that would be soy sprouts. So this is the object. And then even simpler, so now if we kind of forget all that, because that's all we really needed to do, we have a preposition here. And that makes this the object. Sandwich is the object of a preposition. So on which sandwich, okay? Now, we should have already learned that auf is a two-way preposition, which means that it could be accusative or dative. And that does depend on the verb, but the verb isn't showing any motion. We're not putting something onto the sandwich. It's just on which sandwich. So that means that this should be the dative case, and this is a neuter noun, so we end up with em as our ending. Alright, so that is how you use Welch in a brief summary. If you have any questions, make sure that you ask. Try some practice activities on Conjugamos in the book and in your packet, and hopefully it works out for you. But like I said, if you still have questions, make sure you come see me.